this. I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. No second guess it, I let it set in. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, but sometimes a little misinformed. This is Danny G sitting alongside Jimmer and Rio today, and shout out to our special guest, Mr. Luke Rising. Rising. I say it wrong if you like. Rising?
Rising.
Okay, good. I feel like didn't somebody argue that?
Yeah.
Did you tell me a story about that?
I did have a story like that. One of our finest former Zinpro employees, Paul O'Shea, he asked me if my name was Riesling one time, and then when I explained to him it was Rising, he was first to inform me that, am I sure that my name could be Rising? So, yep, I was living a sham for the first 24 years of my life.
Man.
So, yeah, I guess call it what you want.
It's tough to learn it that late in life. Damn.
Right. Like you were adopted.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What?
Letters are a bitch.
Right. Well, we appreciate you being on, helping us get through this episode tonight. We're going to talk through some of the news that's going out there. We've got UFC fight, big card tomorrow night. And we've got some picks for the weekend, things like that. And so to get her started, Jimmer, what's up?
Well, we're going to start this off with a little bit of a serious note. Unfortunately, former Denver Broncos wide receiver Demaryius Thomas was found dead in his apartment, or in his home, sorry. He was just 33 years old. Thomas had retired for good this year in June as a Bronco. It is believed he died of a seizure and has been battling them for a little over a year. The Broncos will honor their former wide receiver prior to Sunday's game against the Lions.
That's sad, definitely. Man, everything you hear, just a good dude and, in his community and stuff like that. So that's tough. Yeah,
it's real tough, man. There's so many cool memories of him. The Tebow catch is the biggest one, obviously. And his...
Beating them Steelers.
Yeah, beating the Steelers, of course. And the catch with Peyton Manning to set the record at the time.
Yeah.
For touchdowns in the season.
Cool little story I thought was Peyton Manning went to the Broncos, right? And he became those two within he was there 3 years. He became damn good friends with them. Like, they come over to each other's house and stuff like that. Whenever Peyton's kids would come onto the field, they'd run up to Demaryius right away and hang out. It's just sad. He was awesome. He was awesome to watch play, but like some of the other stuff you see, like when Peyton Manning announced his retirement, it was him that was there, like front row center too. I mean, and he's played with some damn good receivers, potential and current Hall of Fame wide receivers, and Demaryius is one hell of a guy, and this is sad. Like that broke my heart when I seen it come across last night. So
yeah, it just seems like nobody had a bad thing to say about the guy.
Yeah, just one hell of a good guy. So it was sad to see. 33 years old, man.
But so they just now figured out that the guy was having seizures, or how did that all go? Like, that hasn't been news. Like, it's been a normal thing going on.
Supposedly, yeah. Well, kind of, not really. All of it. I guess his female cousin, who's they're so close that they consider themselves siblings, is the one that came out and said that he's been battling him for over a year. And then his former teammates have been saying that he's been having them more often here recently. So that's the reason why they're suspecting that. I don't know if it's anything else. I don't know if it's to do with what you were talking about earlier. What was that?
Well, I was just thinking, like, does this, like, not to stoke a fire, but, like, is this any CTE kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, seizures are all brain-related, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like I said, it's unconfirmed that it was that. That's just what the early reports are so far, but sad day.
Yeah.
Little NFL injury news. The Buccaneers activate Richard Sherman off injured reserve. Big deal?
Maybe. I think he'll help him. I mean, he's not going to hurt, but they're getting healthy too.
Yeah, I don't think it's big of a deal with everybody else coming back.
Yeah. What'd you say? Sean Murphy
Bunting,
and
and
whatever their Davis, is that his last name?
I think so.
So just some depth. I think they're getting healthy at the right time is what it comes down to, and they're gonna be tough to beat. They really are.
Yeah.
I do love the idea of having them against Belichick in the Super Bowl. Like, now that that's become the big talk, I think that's awesome.
Oh, great. So we have a three-way side of this table where there's some circle jerking going on. I get it. Because they're all about the Patriots.
Misinformed.
That does. I'm about ready to flip this table over in that direction. Like, that has me pumped up. Like, how great of a storyline is that? You can't draw it up any better than that.
And that goes agreeing with what you're saying because it's coming on to this dude's biggest conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
And that is?
Yeah, it's all about the storyline, man.
When it comes to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They want the biggest storyline. That's what it seems like it always breaks out that way, kind of.
Yeah.
And is this not? Technically, it'd be the ultimate one.
I preach the same thing, like every league, like having the whole like tragedy happen and then having that team like either win whatever major championship they were playing in or anything else. Like even when I get like the Golden Knights, like the hockey team, they were just a startup franchise, but they did get to take all the best players. But after that whole Vegas shooting, like, how the hell do you become a startup franchise and then still play in the Stanley Cup?
In the Stanley Cup.
Like, in the same year. That's wild. Or the year after.
The Boston bombings. As soon as he brought this to light to me, I'm like, Jesus.
New Orleans.
Yeah, everything. There's a ton of them.
The New York Giants after
Houston.
9/11. Yeah. It's just crazy. Yeah, Houston with the baseball.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
He's like, so he had me jumping on board. He's like, I'm telling you right now, if you see a tragedy somewhere, if you're a betting man, you go throw your money on their major franchises.
Yeah, so I took like the Golden Knights when they were, I can't remember what the odds were, and then I should have taken the payout because they were offering payouts like way early, like when they like made the playoffs. Then I was a dipshit and didn't do it. So
because they lost in the finals, right? Or in the Stanley Cup
they
finals.
lost in the Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
Packers wide receiver Randall Cobb had a core muscle surgery this last week. He will miss several games with the hope that he's ready for the playoffs. I think if we go back to the stats, I think his best game was happening when he got the core muscle injury itself at that particular time. So, big deal.
I think in a sense it is because he looks to Cobb in specific moments of the game. And I think that's where that connection really shows. If Adams is just, triple covered, he knows where to go to. So him not being there could be something. We'll see.
Texans will turn to quarterback Davis Mills for the rest of the season. Their head coach David Culley said on Friday. What we got?
They're bad, right? Eliminated from playoff contention.
They're bad, right?
Just seeing what they have on the bench, So
Are we
Mills.
completely done with Deshaun Watson? Like, Deshaun Watson is completely off the board, though? Like, every which way.
Has to be.
Every
heard
form and facet.
what I see last week, prosecutors are about ready to present the case to a grand jury. So,
since we have you on, where do you think he plays next year?
Ooh.
the longest yard.
Maybe with Robert Kraft getting
rub his
Oh,
bugs.
I like it.
Give up a Mac Jones.
Yeah, he might go he might back up Mac Jones, but he can spend some time in the press box. I genuinely don't know. I feel like he's a good enough quarterback, or he was playing well enough at quarterback that he could make a ton of money in a bunch of other teams. Like we've talked about before, just like the quarterback market's crazy right now, so
everyone's always looking for one, even if there's sex cases, right?
Yeah. Well, that's just such a discrepancy. Like, how can you afford to pay somebody that much money and then them go to jail?
What was the first thing you thought of when that news broke? Before there was 23 of them, like when the first 5 or 6 came across. What was your first thought?
Fuck, I hope he finished.
Jesus.
According to reports, he did. Oh, damn. Penn State starting quarterback Sean Clifford will return for the 2022 season, which will be his 6th year, he announced Friday. Nothing?
Yeah. So many guys, I feel like they're playing so long in college. I don't understand. 6th year, no big deal.
Big Ten, Aaron Kraft rule. You're a draft player for 10 years in the Big Ten.
There you go.
And then we were talking about it already. Adrian Martinez, 17 years and
now transferring.
And now transferring for another school to get
Probably
it.
get another couple of years.
He's getting his doctorate.
His doctorate.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Love to see him do well.
We have Brett Venables agrees to become the Oklahoma Sooners head coach, which includes a record contract for a first-time head coach. The deal is worth 6 years, $43.5 million.
Yeah, I hope he knows what he's walking into. You know, they expect to compete right away, and he's seen some big-time recruits already back out. So, you know, follow Lincoln Riley.
It's going to be tough. I mean, in a couple years, you end up in the SEC. I don't know, man.
The first thing I thought of, honestly, that the more I thought about it was bargain bin.
Yeah. Oh, $1 million%.
Because Lincoln Riley's was what? 100-some odd million?
He's literally just walking into playing a game against a stacked deck. Like, there's no...
Yeah.
He has nothing to gain. Like, this is your first job, like your first big-time job, and then you're going straight into the SEC in a couple years. Like, you have nothing to gain, and you lost a ton of recruits.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know where he goes
I just
from
don't
that.
see the potential upside. And then I feel like this just hurts your stock later on. Like, this is what you did.
Yep.
And then there's just nothing good that can come of this.
Yeah.
No,
I can see
maybe
that
his bank account. Yeah.
That's about it, though.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah.
like, for
Yeah,
future...
get paid and go.
For future... He was already, like we brought up, he was already the highest-paid assistant coach in NCAA history. I'm actually leaning on that same side with you that I think he should have probably stayed for one more year or wait for one more other college one. Like, think about Oregon. Did Oregon not reach out to you, or are you waiting for see if Cincinnati, if Fickle ends up getting sucked into the NFL or somewhere like that? I would still roll with something like that versus Oklahoma, where you lose all those 4 and 5 stars that have been walking left and right. You go there, and then, like you said, like you need to rebuild it.
He's
To a certain
literally
extent.
he's literally picking up a live grenade and
Yeah.
then just gonna try to run.
And
it.
then
I don't know, maybe he's looking, you know, to at the future. Okay, I can reach down into the Texas pipeline to recruit. You're right next door.
Well,
so maybe,
Oklahoma is so much better than Texas.
no,
Oh, come
Like the
down.
state, like the state of Oklahoma is
Well,
like
that's
so
a
much more
lie.
beautiful.
That's a lie.
Amarillo is basically Oklahoma anyway. Everything north of Amarillo is basically
Amarillo's a dog shit town, so you can.
Yeah, see, you
If
hear
that's
that,
what you're
Texas?
talking
You
about,
hear that,
then-
Texas? That's how he feels about you.
You hear that, Texas?
Well,
I can take that from you, but for a guy who's lived in one state his whole life, he can get fucked.
What? I've been in other states. Stop it.
Passing through don't count.
It counts fully.
I flew over him. What's
I
up?
found out Arizona was a beautiful state.
I'll
The
be
whole
honest,
thing.
I will say this to the University of New Mexico: Albuquerque is a shithole.
Shithole.
And I'll
Yes.
stick with that till I die.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, think about everything we just said about what he has to do at Oklahoma. Like, what's his rebuild? Like, if everything worked out, like 4 years, they're back where they are now, right?
If everything was
Oklahoma
good.
will not give you that much time, right?
But
Just like Texas, right?
Can you recruit?
Probably not.
Can he recruit what Lincoln Riley was able to do in those 4
I
years?
agree. I agree.
don't-
I'm saying
I don't see
prime.
that.
Everything works out the way you expect. Best case, 4 years, they can get back to where they are, right?
And like Spencer
No.
Rattler
I don't-
isn't even
No,
QB1
because they
there. You
hop over
can't
to
even
SEC.
keep him.
No.
Right. So that's my point. So they like best case scenario in his world right now. In 4 years, they'll be good. They're not going to give him 4 years to get to that point, right? They're going to expect something
Yeah,
now.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's more my point.
So Oklahoma goes to the SEC. They become like Mississippi State. Like
Yeah.
if that,
It-
yeah.
If that Texas
Yeah.
is going to battle too. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, and I
so,
agree.
like-
and that's a tough, yeah.
like you're in a tough bind. And then Mike Leach is way cooler than him.
Way
oh,
cooler.
So
yes.
why would you
Oh,
not go
100%.
to
way
Mississippi
cooler.
State?
Yeah.
100%. Virginia Cavaliers hire Clemson Tigers offensive coordinator Tony Elliott as the next head coach. There goes 2 coordinators out of Clemson.
Yep.
What were you thinking? Virginia win, obviously, I think. I mean, even with Ugulele, you know, yeah, that's more mechanics. If you watch him throw the ball, that's what kind of hurt their offense to me, at least. But you lose your top 2 assistants, which ties into your recruits, too, because your assistants play a huge role a lot of people don't realize that, a huge role in your recruiting. They're the ones that usually are talking to him more than even the head coach.
Yeah.
You know, because they're trying to they have to break in the scheme where we can use you and try to sell them on this 5-star and this is what we're going to do to get you involved. This is what you're going to be, and this is a scheme we're going to run that's going to make you successful to make us successful, right?
Yeah, I think Rio actually touched on that. That was a big part of the reason Lincoln Riley brought basically everybody with him.
Yes.
It's because they're helping him bring the recruits too. So, yeah, that's a good call.
So, Clemson, I still don't believe. So, we talked off air. I had heard a little thing about wondering if the dynasty's over, and that is ridiculous to me. Clemson will be just fine. They play in the ACC, number one. Number two, Dabo Swinney's the man. He will get other people in. I'm not saying that they're going to be the exact same right out of the gate, but he's going to still pull his talent. That's what he's going to do. They're still going to compete. He just isn't Nick Saban. That's all it is. So Nick Saban, he doesn't miss a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
he's like way up here on the pedestal. I will say that. He is on the pedestal way up here. Everybody else has a down year from time to time. That's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I think they'll be just fine. The fact that they got to 9 wins, gentlemen, the way they look this year is impressive to me, actually. That tells me that's all coaching.
Yeah, scoring 12 points a game or whatever the hell they were doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they were still eking them out. So that defense coordinator obviously shows that it's a little more worthy.
Well, so if you look at it like that, so I know Dabo isn't Nick Saban, but it's like Nick Saban didn't even know that Dan Enos or whoever went to Miami, like he didn't know he left. Like they were having a team meeting, and then he went looking for him, and he's like, "Where's he at?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, he left. He took a job in Miami." Like, those coaches are that good that they don't even – not that they don't necessarily need those people, but it's like they don't depend on them.
Absolutely.
They can literally make another person be the best defensive coordinator in the country the next year.
Yep. I agree.
And then we see how that played out in Miami. So
Right.
That's how that goes.
So Notre Dame safety and the top safety in the draft, number 4 prospect in the NFL draft, from many people's reports, and running back Kyron Williams both declared for the NFL draft on Friday and said they will forego playing in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma State on January 1st. Big deal.
I mean, it's good for them, but
For the
probably
university, that hurts.
But for
right?
a big for the university, it's a big deal.
Well, the safety hurts, obviously, when you lose a talent like that before that game, but the running back, a lot of people don't realize Kyron Williams is a huge part of their offense. It may not show up in the stat sheet all the time, but he does everything. He's a pass catching back. And he runs the rock pretty well. But it's kind of like the glue of that offense. When shit starts getting a little sideways, all right, we'll just go to Kyron and we'll get this figured out right now.
My whole side with that is once you start seeing coaches bail on teams, I'm all for it with kids bailing. Like, why would a kid that isn't getting any money just hang it up? Like, they literally have nothing to gain. Like, other than making the school more money.
Yep.
Yeah, literally, you are just going to get hurt.
Yep.
That's
and
all
especially when you have a pretty damn good shot, you're going to get drafted.
Yeah,
right?
it's all risk, no gain. If you're that good, hang it up. It'll piss me off if the University of Arizona is ever good enough to be in a relevant bowl game, but until we get out of the New Mexico Bowl or win more than one game, then I'll keep with this side of the story.
You got anything on that, Rio?
Good for them, I guess.
Good for them. Keeping along that same track, Iowa's running back Tyler Goodson will forego his senior year and the Citrus Bowl to enter the NFL draft.
Yep, that hurts us.
Yeah.
Big time, right? But
We already had the, what'd you say, like 150th ranked offense, so you take one of the top running backs in the Big Ten out. I don't know where they're going to get offense, dude. I really don't. Yeah. I'm scratching. It's not good.
They didn't have offense.
He had 1,100 yards.
He was a little 150th ranked offense or some shit like that. Like, wildly low.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But that 150th, they could have been 170th if it wasn't for him.
Yes. Thank God that the Nevada School for the Deaf and Blind is also in that mix.
Yeah. What else we got here? Former Major League Baseball outfielder Yasiel Puig has signed a 1-year, $1 million contract with the South Korean club Kaiwoon Heroes. Puig, who turned 31 this week, hasn't played in the majors since 2019 when he played 100 games for the Cincinnati Reds and 49 for the Cleveland Indians before becoming a free agent. Dead air.
Yeah, that's all he is anymore, right? So,
Honestly, after it got brought up, I remember he went to the Reds, and then I just remember how much of a staple he was for when he played for the Dodgers. He was super relevant, just nuts how good he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cannon, man.
I would say he helped revitalize baseball for the Dodgers. Before that, do you really remember the Dodgers? The only thing I remember about the Dodgers prior to that was what was his name? There's the saves leader, the all-time single season saves leader was there. Was it Gagne? Is that his name? Am I getting that right? He came in. That's the only thing I remember from the Dodgers from that little gap.
The glasses. He had glasses,
yeah.
right? Thick rimmed
You
glasses.
remember him?
Yeah.
So I thought it was Eric Gagne.
That sounds
sound
right,
right?
actually.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it was, but before, literally, that's the only little thing. And then I think, to me, Yasiel Puig brought the Dodgers back on the map, at least for entertainment purposes.
I just mean the guy was a freak, though. He was just teeing off, and then baseball is just such a crazy animal. When you look at it, how you can go from being the best that's around and then being nothing like Ryan Howard. You look at shit like that.
Yep, the
It's
shift.
just crazy. The shift just ends somebody's career by somebody moving.
Yeah.
But,
But there-
Yasiel Puig dropping off like that, which, I knew he went to the Reds, but I never thought he'd end up in Korea.
I knew he ended up. He sparked the Indians to the playoffs and kind of a deep run that year.
Yep.
Once they picked him up, and I thought he was doing good, not just batting and everything. I thought he was doing good with the team, his attitude and stuff too. I could be 100% wrong with that. I just thought that he was doing good there. But to touch on it, like I said, I didn't watch as much baseball this year as I should have, or I normally do. And I just
162 games for
right.
30-some teams.
But that being said, I forgot all about the guy.
Yeah.
I just assumed he was somewhere and I wasn't paying attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
it's
then I
been a
seen that,
while.
so.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. Steve Kerr will replace Greg Popovich as head coach of Team USA men's basketball. Kerr's coaching staff will include Phoenix Suns coach Monty Williams, Miami Heat's coach Eric Spoelstra, and Gonzaga's coach Mark Few.
Hard to imagine anybody other than someone from the University of Arizona running the country. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
Bear down, baby.
Yeah.
No doubt.
get out of here.
That's all you
the
got.
This guy.
That's it?
That's all you got?
That's it.
That's all I get?
That's all you get.
His eyes are getting winced over there. It's been staying up.
Man, all I know is Spoelstra being involved is still funny to me.
Just for, what's that?
Just because he didn't, he's not really a good coach.
I don't think he's a bad coach, actually.
not.
I feel
I
like
think he's the
all
best coach
I
that
know-
he ever had, LeBron.
I feel like all I know Eric Spoelstra's ever done is manage LeBron.
Right.
Literally
Right.
When
just
you
navigate
have
where
the
he's
best
supposed
player in
to.
the world at the time,
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy to look
he
good.
literally was just like a fucking airplane person with the waivers for LeBron and D Wade. He was just directing, we're gonna go to this team or we're gonna go.
the
play
ball
this team.
goes in
Yeah.
that hoop.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
He's
We're going to
for-
play
for
strong
this-
offense.
For this quarter, we're going to shoot at this one, and then here in about 15 minutes, we're going to go this way.
Yes.
And that's all that guy did, I feel like.
No, he was like a video.
A video, he'd watch video game, or not video game, but recordings. He was the video analyst for Miami and moved him up.
Oh, he was definitely watching YouTube how to coach.
Coaching for dummies.
Yeah, he was Googling, how to coach people. This is a stop Google search.
No, but I think Kerr's I think he'll do a good job. I think
he
he's
will too.
really good with ball movement and managing just a bunch of talent. So I think he'll be fine.
The players tend to respect him, so
Yeah.
that's what you need when you get
like
all
the
that.
guy, like seriously, like no bullshit. He is dealing with the Warriors, like when they were in their peak. Not that they're not good now, but like you were dealing with maybe one of the best NBA teams of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the guy was able to keep them from like getting
Self-imploding.
their heads. Yeah.
Technically,
Tough to argue with that.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
He was able to make Luke Walton look like he knew what the fuck.
Obviously,
he was
got him a head
doing.
coaching
he got
job
him
or
a head
two.
Coaching job, right?
That's
He got
not.
him to hoodwink
That's no more. But
Sacramento.
yeah.
Yeah, that's no more. But that being said, he still got him 2
Yeah,
gigs.
you're right.
Still got him paid.
Right. Still
The
got
dude
him
still cash a
paid.
check.
You know, so yeah. Technically, you are right. They by all-time regular season record, they were the best team. So,
Yep.
and what 73-9? Is that what it ended up being that year? I
Yeah,
think?
73. Yep.
Yep.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, 9 losses.
That's still crazy.
yeah. I bet
then
you they're
you-
so mad that they lost the 9.
Then
Yeah.
you talk this year, like when the Suns had like a 17-game winning streak, they're like, oh yeah, they haven't lost a game in 18 games or whatever. But like, yeah, just to go 17-9 is nuts to me.
Yeah.
Or
73-9.
73-9,
Yep.
sorry.
Auburn Tigers men's basketball placed on 4 years probation, and coach Bruce Pearl has been suspended 2 games because of former assistant coach Chuck Person, who was arrested and charged for accepting bribes from a financial advisor. Now, that was a few years ago. That investigation is now wrapped up, and this is the consequences from that incident.
Yeah. If it's not one thing, it's another, huh?
Whoa, what were you talking about? Where hasn't it happened? With him? With Bruce?
That might have been offline a little bit ago.
Oh, might have been offline. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it does follow. It has followed him. I think he
Yeah.
had issues at Tennessee also. So,
Yep. I think that was part of the reason he left Tennessee. Wasn't there some sketchy shit going on?
yeah.
So
But I mean, like, is that fair for like once it finally does happen that you get finally caught in your bullshit that it happens to one program?
what do you mean?
Like, so for him to, because obviously what he's getting in trouble for now isn't right, but it's part of the reason he's getting in, like, that these implications are becoming this big of a deal is because of prior shit. So should it all reflect on one program?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, his
No,
his
it's not
priors.
fair. Yeah, that's a good call. Didn't think about that.
Well, all these nil deals and this, that, and the other. I just,
Yeah.
you know, what was that one that old boy got tagged up? Remember, I had that in like a previous podcast about the player that got.
Oh yeah. It was the player who got suspended and because he accepted some sort of deal before the Neal deal.
Like
Like
2
months
days
before or
or
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, real-
something stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, just
Are you kidding me?
today's age. It was like NCAA's final, haha, got you because it was technically before this, you know, type of situation. But
Give Reggie back his Heisman.
Yes.
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 Should have been Vince Young anyways.
Oh,
We'll get the
False.
what,
False.
dude? There's no doubt that Reggie Bush was the best college football player that
Not
year.
even
He
close.
was.
Yeah.
That he was.
Jesus. Hey, what was the greatest college football game of all time?
don't
That
do
right
this
there.
to us.
That was
Don't do this
USC
to
versus
us.
Texas, and Texas beat that ass.
Do you agree with that?
100%. ESPN literally ranked it number 1.
Yeah,
So
ESPN's stupid. We've made that clear.
where do you get your news and notes?
Not all of it comes from there. Bleacher Report, bitch.
Yeah, get out of here.
But if we are talking about that for a second, though, one of the greatest college football games I ever played was definitely Clemson versus Bama.
Yes.
That
Not
was
the best, but it was. a
No,
good
it
game.
was the best.
It was not.
So Bama's up there with a lot of games, right? That Auburn
Yeah.
Bama game was great too.
Yeah.
Cam Newton.
Yeah.
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 That was a
Yep.
good game.
But that Bama Clemson one back and forth down to the
So
wire.
fun. Yeah.
That was clearly better than any Texas USC one that
That
you
was
might have
not
heard of.
clearly better. It was a good game, but not better.
Honestly, looking back at it, like now, like Vince Young and how he turned out, then I'll say yes.
Rutgers stun #1 Purdue on deep 3-pointer at the buzzer.
Big Ten's deep.
It is deep. 14 teams deep.
Except for Iowa.
Hey, 7-2 right now. We'll rewind this.
We lost
Here
by
about a month.
20.
Yeah, we did. To Iowa State. That's also on here.
Got
Iowa State blows
destroyed.
out Iowa
Got
73-53.
destroyed by 20 as
What-
a favorite.
Hold on, go ahead. Finish the whole thing. What were they favorite? Where was it at?
So it was in Ames.
And they were favored
So it
by
was in Jack Trice. Favored by 5. Minus
Hilton.
215 money line.
I was gonna say
Hilton.
it wasn't in.
You're
Jack
thinking
Trice.
Jack Trice is the football stadium.
Oh yeah,
Hilton
sorry.
Coliseum.
Hilton Coliseum. Yeah. So favored by 5, and then which is crazy to me. I still don't get that.
That
but
that
Did you
didn't make
bet on that
sense.
then? Tell me you had to. I was gonna say you had to.
I money lined Iowa State on.
Yeah, why wouldn't you at that point? Like I would have too. Like, how are you the favorite in this?
Yeah.
I was confused. Because I hadn't looked into it that much, but I was like, how was Iowa State ranked? And then because everybody always talks about Hilton Magic, Hilton Magic,
Yep.
Hilton Magic.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you're dogs at home when you're ranked.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, but yeah, it paid.
Seton Hall Pirates make statement and knocks off #7 Longhorns.
Like state. That's not how you read it last
That's a
time.
statement.
Jesus Christ.
That is what I read.
What the hell?
That is what I read. I
Hook
read
'em
that. clear.
down.
Hook 'em
Hook 'em
down,
down.
baby.
It happens. At least we only lose to ranked teams at the moment.
They weren't
so.
ranked. at the
Seton
time.
Hall was. Yeah, they were.
Nah, at the-
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
That isn't what I had, so that's all.
I
that
know
counts.
because
but
you're
the-
misinformed.
Also,
Never.
also, I'll argue this. They're a shitty Big East team, so the Big East is a joke.
Seton Hall's
There
been
you go.
decent. They made tournament runs. What are you
here's-
talking about?
here's- we
That's
go.
great. How many
In previous
times
years.
have they had good tournament runs?
Several times. Didn't they play decent last year?
Uh,
I know. Recently they did pretty well.
Prior to that, because you like to go in the past. Remember back to 1996.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to that year a lot.
Let's go back to the Vikings Super Bowl wins,
Son of a bitch.
and we'll
We'll
see
go back
which
to their
one is the
NFL
longest
Hey,
one.
we'll go back to their NFL championship. Would you like to go back to that?
The Cowboys Super Bowl is way closer than the Vikings NFL championship.
Let's move on.
What
So
the hell?
BYU football coach Kalani Sitake has signed a new contract to the school through the 2027 season. Your BYU Cougars? While not releasing the terms of the contract, BYU called Sitake's new deal unprecedented in a news release. Sitake is 48-28 in 6 seasons at BYU, which finished number 13 in the college football playoff, and has guided that university to consecutive seasons of 10 or more wins for the first time since 2008 and 2009. Now, a little side note that I didn't put in there is this deal comes like right now because Oregon was in conversations with this head coach.
Yeah, they played well. So
Yeah.
well deserved.
Well, you rode that pony for
For
most of the season.
yeah, I was on them, and then I hopped off the right time. Then they end up losing 2 in a row. I did bet either of them games, and then I hopped back on and won money. So
Hell yeah.
What are you up?
I was almost at $500 betting on BYU
There you
this
go.
year.
You take that.
You know, one thing about BYU, like just to give him a little bit of credit, that coach, that has to be a tough place to recruit to, right?
Just like Notre Dame and like
Yeah.
those harder ones
no,
like that.
not you can't even call that
worse.
close to Notre
It's
Dame.
worse.
It's like I think they have to sign a contract that they won't have sex or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Super religious,
Dude,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
super bad. Like this
Well,
is
so you got all that.
100%
So no wonder
normal
they're
school.
playing good. They got all that pent up aggression. No way to
Yeah,
get
right.
it
They're
out.
not releasing
seriously,
testosterone.
I think BYU has like 100% divorce rate after they come out because they gotta marry somebody. But
Yeah, it's way more strict. Like you don't have that typical college experience that you want to go to and have fun at that age and
Yeah.
stuff. So got to be tough to get the talent. So says a lot about the coaching, right?
you're literally just there recruiting the top Mormons in the country.
right.
Is
Pretty
basically
much.
what it equates to.
Luckily, they usually play all them crappy. What's it? Big West? Not Big West.
They're independent.
Mountain West.
They're
right, but they
independent.
play a lot
Yeah.
of those
Yeah.
teams
yeah,
out
they
that
play
way.
a ton of Mountain West too.
Yeah. That's where you make some money, don't you? Off your betting, you rock that Mountain West, and definitely is that Hawaii and
Wyoming.
Wyoming. There you go. Every time I look at Wyoming on the betting sheet, I think this guy right here.
Vamos
He's like, take
Vaqueros. Josh Allen paid my mortgage when he was in college.
Dude.
The college football awards were announced. Davey O'Brien Award for best quarterback went to surprise, Bryce Young. Johnny Unitas Golden Arm for top senior quarterback went to Kenny Pickett. The Doak Walker Award for best running back went where?
Mr. Kenneth Walker, the third.
Who you have a borderline man crush on.
Yeah, he's a stud. Dude.
Yeah.
So good.
Fred Biletnikoff Award for best receiver. This one right here is the biggest surprise to me. Jordan Addison from Pittsburgh. Now, the reason why it was a surprise to me is I thought it was going to be, you corrected me earlier in the first
Blake
name.
Bell?
Is it Blake?
Mm.
Yeah, Blake Bell from Purdue. I thought, because that dude, everyone knew there's one guy that was getting thrown to. Every time you'd match up against Purdue. And this dude produced, what'd you say, 8 100-yard games?
Yeah, something like that. Something crazy.
It was stupid.
Sorry, not Blake. David Bell.
David Bell. This dude, he looked this up earlier. I'm pretty sure it was like 7 or 8 100-yard games. You knew, and a game over 200 yards also in one of them. This dude went off. You knew where the ball was going. He only had the 6 touchdowns. I think that's the only thing that separated you.
Yeah.
Because the old boy had 17.
4, 5, 6. So he had 7 over 100-yard games. He had 2 over 200-yard games
over 200
with 10-plus catches. I think the thing that hurt him was he didn't have many touchdowns.
But
He
still,
did have,
to me,
yeah. Well, not many touchdowns, and he had 6 touchdowns total, and 3 of them came in one game.
which may be, but still, it's to the best wide receiver. It doesn't say the best wide receiver, the highest touchdown total, right?
Yeah.
Or is that just me?
I mean, he didn't have the most yards either, but
even when you knew it was there, like you knew it was going to him, like nobody was stopping him. Was my point. Like I watched Purdue versus Iowa, and Purdue had a few. They upset 3 teams this year in the top 25.
Yeah.
Something like that. And the fact that you knew it was going there and they couldn't stop him, that to me is the best wide receiver. That's my point. It isn't necessarily all about the touchdowns. I mean, yes, the point is to win, but that many yards, I thought it should have been him. I was shocked when I read that.
Yeah.
Because you said Addison had 17, right? 17 touchdowns.
yeah. So I think that's ultimately what it come down to is he had 17 touchdowns. That's a crazy amount.
The second craziest one to me is this next one I'm about to read, and that's the John Mackie Award for Best Tight End. And it did not go anywhere near the 3 guys that I thought it would go to. This went to Trey McBride from Colorado State. The other 3 guys I thought you would have had me even bat my eyes at, and that would have been Iowa State's, and I can't remember. His name escapes me right now.
Charlie Kohler.
Is that it? Okay. And then Sam Laporta from Iowa. That's the only dude he could have complete a pass to. And then the Georgia tight end, I swear to God, that's the only guy he knew how to throw to. Their quarterback in that game. Something like that. Bowers?
Yeah, I think that's right.
It was something like that. And I was surprised by that one second most. So,
well, that one was stat driven completely because that cat had his yards and everything like that was just blew everybody else out of the water. But the problem was he didn't play against anybody. So it really helped.
The Remington Trophy for the best center went to Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa. That one isn't too much of a surprise. He was preseason and everything. Outland Trophy, best interior lineman, Jordan Davis, your guy, big boy. The one that can only go 2 snaps at a time, then he needs 2 snaps off to breathe.
Yeah, man.
That is a mammoth of a man.
Yep.
And he eats up 3 dudes. I watched that game. He eats up 3 guys, and he moves them all. He doesn't just eat them up and we stay put. He moves them.
But do you genuinely think that transitions in the league?
That's
I think it'll be a balance. I think he'll lose some of that because he's got to get his conditioning better. But even if he loses some of that and he can only move 2 dudes, then
I think anybody in the NFL is like, okay, you can move 2 defensive guys coming at you. Like, all right, make this work.
We'll be all right.
Dude's a mammoth. The Lombardi Award went for the top lineman, Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan. We were talking about this off air, and that was it is still shocking that I can't remember, his name escapes me, the lineman or defensive end / linebacker, whatever the hell it is for Alabama, who has almost double this dude's stats outside of the sacks, and he still has more sacks than him too. Sacks, tackles for loss, tackles, and just surprising to me a little bit. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is a man beast. Don't get me wrong. I think this is purely based on their season. They had overachieved.
Is that Will Anderson?
Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah.
So he's got a sack and a half more than him.
Sack and a half. Okay.
And also, he's playing in the SEC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he had like 55 and a half tackles for loss or some shit too.
Yep, 90-some tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't get to watch him play much, but the few times that I watched Hutchinson play, it was like it was cheating almost. Like that man gets off the line so fast.
He does.
It's impossible to. So that's the only thing I could go off of. I don't know that either one of them's more deserving, but they're both studs, obviously.
No, they are, and it's the same concept when I was saying that because he became a Heisman Trophy finalist, Aiden, and it's no shot at Aiden in any way, shape, or form. But if you're gonna take him there, you should have taken the Alabama guy too. That's what I mean. At least have the conversation, you know. Run them down here. Buckets Award for Best Linebacker, Nakobe Dean from Georgia. The Jim Thorpe Award went to top defensive back, Kobe Bryant of Cincinnati. That's one of their two studs. One of their three studs that they have that we were talking about when he comes up off air, you know, or when he gets drafted, how they replace him. Luke Groza Award for top kicker went to Jake Moody of Michigan. Ray Guy Award for top punter, Matt Araiza from San Diego State.
Hell yeah.
Get it. And get out of here.
Let's go.
We have the Iowa crap because he wasn't even close to net yardage.
Net yardage is garbage. Inside the 5 is nailed.
Inside the 5.
Just because you play on the 986th ranked offense.
This number keeps
going all the time.
This number keeps going up. Just like when Joey's talking about me and how many children I have.
Just because you play on the 1,069th ranked offense doesn't mean you deserve an award. Just because you punt a ton doesn't get you an award.
Get you inside the 5, baby.
Torrey Taylor for Heisman.
I can't even.
What are you trying to?
I tried looking up the. They don't have it inside the 5.
No, it's because it's a ridiculous, awesome stat that they.
Nobody's had it yet. Yeah, so they're working on it.
They're not used to people punting that many times inside the 5.
Yeah.
So it's like why keep track of one? Oh yeah, Torrey Taylor had like 17.
Brian Ferentz used his whole salary to delete that just so he couldn't say how many times Iowa had to punt, just so he could get his dad's job later on.
The Walter Camp Award for Player of the Year went to Kenneth Walker III. Maxwell Award Player of the Year, Bryce Young. AP Player of the Year, Bryce Young. And Disney Spirit Award, Inspirational Player / Team, Trey Tipton of Pittsburgh.
We got spirit. Yes, we do.
We got spirit.
Spirit
How about
fingers.
you? And so this wasn't full blown news, but I know we got to touch on it because it's not something yet. But Chip Kelly, rumors are is that he's having a conversation with Oregon. What are we thinking there?
Nope. He's not going.
No, don't do it. You're building.
Well, you can't. I don't know about you say he's not going. It depends on what they pay, but should he go? I think we're all in agreement on this one.
I think the money would be relatively close with what he's getting in the market, because you're obviously staying in the same market. You're Pac-12. He's not getting paid to go anywhere else, but just the potential. Because if Chip Kelly goes back to Oregon wants Chip Kelly to be 2000 and whatever
10,
Chip Kelly.
Yep.
Yeah, 2012 Chip Kelly, 2010 Chip Kelly.
The only thing you get if you go to Oregon is you get cool new uniforms from Nike every year, and maybe a little bit in facilities, but that's it.
I think
he is got Jordan. Like, everybody keeps saying Nike, and I don't get it. Like, there's only so many schools that are Jordan schools.
I've
And then
only
he
seen
has
UCLA wear like 3 different jerseys. So Oregon gets like.
Well, yeah, but jerseys aren't going to be what determines him. Like, I think he's on the cusp.
These kids care about shoes. We're getting these kids shoes.
Yeah. But exactly. But that being said, though, is that I think he's on the cusp at UCLA of pushing over into that 10-win column already. Why would you jump ship and go up there and then you have to bring your guys in again? You know, like, you have nothing. And I talked about this a little bit. You have literally nothing to. He has nothing to gain by going to Oregon, but everything to lose. He's already taken them to the college football playoff. He's already played there, like had them like highly succeeding and turned that program around. Right?
Yeah.
He goes up there now and he fails, or he doesn't pull what Cristobal was able to do, or whatever the other ones. Then it literally shatters anything that he did have. You already have it at UCLA. The groundwork is there. The foundation is there. And I think, and I believe that they're going to be 9+ wins on a regular basis now, because I think his establishment is there.
And another thing
I think he needs to be.
Because you see these crazy things now, like these college football coaches' contracts. Like, if Oregon offered Chip Kelly like 10 years, Chip Kelly would take 10 years. I do genuinely think that.
Yeah, 100
And
mil.
then I think Chip Kelly would be dumb not to.
All right.
Honestly, like, if you offer that man 10 years, why would you not? Like, just go back up there, and then there's a good chance that he does very well again. But what he's doing in UCLA, like, it's starting to show.
Yep.
Like, you're starting to see these colors show, and then I would love to see him ride it out and see what happens there, especially against Lincoln Riley. I'm excited to see what
Those two universities put it together.
What shakes up in Southern California. It's going to be cool to see. It's going to suck to be an Arizona fan, and then there's zero recruiting that can happen from Southern California now. We're going to be eating scraps, but
I think Chip Kelly has to, be pushing that 10-win range now, because it's 3 years now? I know one of them was COVID year, but still, 2 of those years I believe he had 3 wins. So he had 8, so he needs to build off this, and I think he needs to get 10. And otherwise it's going to be like, okay.
Well, this is where we go back to, well, first off, I thought it was you that said that he has a 5-star quarterback coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Okay,
said that.
maybe it's you. And then what were you talking about that is still a serious consideration at UCLA?
Yeah,
and him?
Spencer Rattler, right? So that's one of the likely spots that he ends up going. So no matter which quarterback ends up panning out better for him, Rattler or this other 5-star cat, he's in a really good spot there. I think other than the 10-year contract, that's a good point. I could see that selling him to go back. But besides that, if he was the type of guy who wanted like the nostalgia, like I want to go back to my roots or where I started and everything, I could see something like that. But he's not that guy, right?
He believes he's the best.
Yeah.
Well, who gives a fuck about being in Eugene, Oregon? Like, you would rather be in Los Angeles,
Right.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, like,
You
personally.
could build your own brand. Isn't that what today's sports is about? Even
And
when you're a coach.
Chip Kelly was doing well when he was with the Eagles. He doesn't get enough credit for doing. I don't know if you could say well, but Chip Kelly.
I was going to say,
Fine.
Well,
decent.
he
was
had
very decent. with
he
the
did
Eagles.
have a good season with them the one year though, and he did turn he helped turn the Nick Foles. And Nick Foles, a lot of people forget during that year. I'm not even talking about the
University of
Super Bowl.
Arizona bear down.
Yeah, I'm not talking about his Super Bowl where he stepped in and all that. I'm talking about with Chip Kelly. You do realize this dude threw 1 or 2 interceptions that year? Threw for like 30 touchdowns or some shit like that.
Yep. Insane efficiency.
With
And
fucking Nick Foles.
With Nick
Yeah.
Foles, who doesn't run. We're used to Chip Kelly.
single-handedly made Nick Foles a multi-millionaire.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Like, seriously.
yeah, I think the thing that held him back from being a better NFL coach is that back then,
He was before his time,
or
right?
Oregon, you could handpick your players from across the country. In the NFL, you're just kind of stuck with whoever you get or draft and who falls to. You can't go out and, I'm going to give you this to a kid. And you got the facilities and the new jerseys for the kids you can, hold in front of the kids and to come to your place. So, and I think that's ultimately why
Yeah,
And,
guys didn't like the practice.
But he was
practiced
also
them hard, too.
But he was also exactly that. That was one of the things
to
too.
death.
Yeah.
Yes. So a lot of when he was there, he was ahead of his time. So what I mean by that about ahead of his time, what do at least 50% of the NFL teams run now? His style of offense, and not just his, but you know what I'm saying. Mike Leach runs that too. They're kind of like air raid, but it's an option type of type of game, and he was doing it before anyone else was really doing it. He was trying to commit to that.
Yeah.
And now that is a staple, and like I'm being generous on like 50%. Or underselling it, I should say. I bet you it's even more than that. Everyone has a staple of that type of offense in their system.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even call it air raid anymore. Like, everybody is doing
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
What everybody's doing is RPO now. That's what literally everyone is doing.
Yep, some version of it. Yep.
Yep.
Whether it's like you don't have an athletic quarterback, so
Yep.
you literally turn it into the passing version of it.
If Chip Kelly had RG3 when he came out, it could have been nasty out there, though.
Yeah.
Or, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there.
Patrick Mahomes?
My man, Tebow.
No.
In that offense.
No. I'll argue that.
In that offense.
No.
What?
No.
Come on,
I
man.
genuinely don't think so. No, there's...
I was hoping you'd say Kirk Cousins so I could just shit all over you.
no.
Are you talking about the MVP?
You must
The
be.
MVP?
Get out of
Talking
here.
MVP. But either way, that's what I got.
Boom. Well, I don't know if you got it pulled up, Rio. Let's go through that UFC card and talk about what's going on tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Luke's probably got some opinions on some UFC with you.
I can whip up the card. I got my picks. Here, let me pull it up. The internet is much faster than what it used to be.
Yeah, Jimmer, whenever you bring up Nick Foles, I always worry you're going to talk about a Red Solo Cup or something like that.
No, I thought you were going to talk about the old Big Dick Foles that was going around.
That's what I'm talking about.
Big Dick Nick, baby.
Yeah. All those chicks that came out, is that what it was?
Yeah.
That came out and said that after their Eagles Super Bowl victory?
I would just like to say on air, the University of Arizona has one Super Bowl MVP. The University of Iowa has 0.
Oh, that's an interesting fact.
It's a very good stat.
He's not wrong.
Going off
Sucks.
this UFC card, UFC 269, Oliveira versus Poirier. Actually, not too bad of a card. Coming up, the early prelims, I'm taking Ryan Hall over this Derek Minor guy. I think Ryan Hall, if he can get to the ground, he can submit him. He's a minus 200 favorite in that one. Moving into the prelims, Pedro's Munoz versus Dominic Cruz. I'm taking Dom Cruz minus 105.
Dom Cruz for sure.
Yeah,
right?
Dom Cruz. That's what I'm rolling with. Interesting fight for me. Josh Emmett versus Dan Ing. I'm staying away from it because they both can knock each other out. It's just going to be whoever lands that on the button there. Myself, there's Sean O'Malley fighting Raleigh and Paiva.
Is this the?
I'm not an O'Malley guy.
Is this the guy that is like huge on Connor? Or am I mixing it up?
What do you mean?
Because there's one that's been like, I'm bringing Irish. I'm bringing.
No, that's not him.
Okay. The one that's like, I'm bringing Irish
No,
back
that's
with him.
Patty.
Was
Is
that
Oh
Patty?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was mixing
He's
them up.
Patty.
he's from fucking London.
Okay.
He's a Scouser.
Oh.
Okay. Kai Kara France versus Cody Garbrandt. Garbrandt moving down a weight class. I'm taking him minus 140 favorite. I think he's got so much power for this new division that he's going to, and is going to knock him out.
Yes.
Ooh.
Keep it rolling up. Amanda Nunez versus Juliana Pena. I think we are all set on Nunez just dominating this thing again.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet the house.
I was going to say
Until
bet the house.
until they decide
Yeah.
to have the conversation of
She's got to fight a man.
co-ed fight.
Yeah. I'm
This
taking her all
isn't
day.
this isn't a conversation.
Yeah.
Not in my opinion.
That woman terrifies me.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. And then for the main event, Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. I'm taking the champ. You know, Danny brought up a point one of the few times. If one of the first times maybe. The champ is the underdog at plus 125. I'm taking Charles Oliveira. He showed he has power in his hands by rocking Mike Chandler and then finishing with a sub. He also dominated Tony Ferguson wrestling and getting him to the ground and taking him out. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with him in this fight.
All right.
That's
I think
tough on that Oliveira note, though, because especially if you go the route that you say that he rocked Michael Chandler and then finished him with his hands, because Michael Chandler also got rocked by Gaethje, who got beat up by Poirier, so you can go that route. So,
I'm just saying he's shown that he can knock somebody out and stun him. So
God, I just have a hard time. And then, I don't know, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, and then, because I am just
because he's a big jiu-jitsu guy, right? He can finish anybody. He's got, like, the most submissions, I think, in UFC history, but at the same time, he's shown that he can stagger people.
Yeah.
And
then I might just be a dick rider for Dustin, but I don't know. I just don't. I genuinely think it's the heart is going to win it. I do think that the diamond is going to beat him. Because I think that I think Dustin will die in there before he quits. Because especially now that they're saying that that they're talking about him retiring if he wins that, I think he just wants that strap. And then just so he can say he had it, not that fucking intern bullshit. Mm-hmm. Like just him win it outright. I do think that the diamond's going to win.
Yeah, I'm just worried he's looking past him a little bit. Because he's talking a lot about, what about after the fight? He's like, well, I'm probably going to move up to 170 and fight again and blah, blah, blah. I'm a little worried about that. I like Dustin, but if he doesn't have his head in the game, I don't think he'll finish this fight.
I do think something crazy coming out of this. The press conference that happened earlier was O'Malley and Garbrandt going at it. Yeah. That was a good one. And then,
like I said, I think me and Danny are on the same page. We got to see O'Malley fight somebody for real.
Well, yeah, especially because like O'Malley fought that whatever other like vape head looking kid like the last fight, and then he hit him in the face a shit ton. Yeah, but it's like you still didn't.
That guy
him.
Took also a fight on short notice, like 2 days.
Exactly,
so
and then
couldn't even finish him,
and you didn't finish him, and then and now O'Malley saying like, oh yeah, when I said that I wasn't gonna take only top 15 fights or whatever.
Hold on. I do agree with him. What apparently he's getting paid. Yeah, why would you fight top 15 guys if you're getting paid? But did you hear what
he's saying now? Like yesterday, yesterday he's saying he's like, oh yeah, what I said before. He was like, that's before I was making what I am now. So now he's like taking back everything that he said. So everything just seems so disingenuous.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything off the press conference yesterday, but from what he said before, I don't know if y'all heard. He's like, well, I'm not pushing for any top 15 fights. Why would I? Because I'm making pennies, right? So why would I? I'll just keep beating these scrubs they put in front of me. And no, I totally agreed with that. Why do that?
Because that's how you get paid more than pennies.
Yeah.
Well, they still have to match you up either way. I mean, the UFC works by they present you a matchup. It don't matter. You can be like, I want top 15, but it all depends on where everybody.
Yeah, but that being said,
their schedule lines
that's
up.
how you do make that next one where the pay-per-view turns into your money, right? Speaking of which,
then when he took that Paiva fight, though, just to clear this up, when he took that Paiva fight, Paiva was top 15. So he was a ranked fighter, but he had lost, or I don't even know if he lost, but he fell out of the rankings because somebody else jumped in there. So this is a good fight. Yeah. This is a very good fight for him.
That being said, I had a question for you guys because I'm a casual fan, like I've stated many times. I didn't see any when we were watching that UFC fight night last weekend. I didn't see Reebok on there. Is that done?
Yeah.
Yeah, they moved to a different. Is it Venom now?
Venom.
Okay, so we did see that on the back.
He went to a Venom deal, which is almost the same thing. I think it's a little bit better, but basically the same thing as Reebok.
Is it? Okay, I was just curious. So we seen that in the back of some of the shorts. Was the Venom? I was like, never heard of him. Number one. Yeah. But number two, I was like, I didn't see any Reebok anywhere. So that Reebok deal must have been
right. The Reebok deal was straight garbage. I don't know the numbers now because I'm not in touch with them. But I had some friends in the UFC and still in the UFC, and what they had said before was like, for your first 5 fights in the UFC under the Reebok deal, you only got $2,500 per fight.
Oh,
that is
my
it.
God.
And then the next fight up to 10 fights, from 5 to 10 fights, it was like 5,000. Yeah, you didn't make crap. And then with no sponsorship money, especially, made it tough.
Yeah.
Made it tough. Unless you were, headline a pay-per-view and got a cut.
Yeah.
They just need to let the fighters have whoever they want sponsor them.
So that is how it goes then. So you have to headline a pay-per-view to get part of the pay-per-view cuts.
Yeah, to get your pay. Yeah, because it's your name. So
Okay.
you do get part of. They don't ever disclose the
full-blown
the
amount.
full
I do know that.
distribution. They just the numbers bought. That's all that comes
Okay.
out. So.
I'm glad you brought that up, though, so that we watched Aldo. I can't remember who he fought. But him and the other guy, both of them, are going to be out at least 6 months.
Oh, Rob Font.
Orbital breaks, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they both
they
messed
both
each other's
did.
eyes up.
So it's interesting. They called it a suspension, but it's an injury suspension. I've never heard it phrased that way
So
before.
everybody gets that until you get cleared by a doctor. So it could be sooner or
Okay.
later. So basically all you have to do is go to a
From
doctor.
experience.
So
That's
every UFC fight, like when they get done, they
They give them 6 months
get
pretty
checked
much.
out, and then if you get in a war, you're
Yeah, they
You're
give you
getting
6
time.
months right off the bat. Now it can be 3 months or 2 months if you go to a doctor and get cleared.
Cleared. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I'll pick mine. Then I'll let Luke go and see what he's got. But I'm gonna go just off a few of them, the ones that I do know. Okay. First off, we were all 100% on Nunez, and that won't change until they put a full-fledged person with a penis in front of her to fight. Is where I may think about it, and even then, it would be hard.
It could still be.
And
a
I'm not talking
female,
about
though,
the penis.
with a
I'm talking about.
It's
picking
2021,
against her.
baby.
Yeah,
You could still be a female with a penis.
yeah, that's fine. No, I'm okay with that. What I'm
Okay.
saying is, I don't know if this Juliana has one. Is my point. Not big enough to fight Nunez.
but you're sure Amanda Nunes has one.
Maybe. She's one bad woman. She, like you said, she scares me. She murdered the best MMA fighter maybe of all time. That was the most intimidating at one point in Chris Cyborg. So from that time forward, I'll never doubt this woman until they face her up against a man. And then and even then, the first one, I'm going ahead and throwing money on Nunez until I'm proven wrong. I will go to that. I'm gonna go with some of the, like I said, some of the names I know. I am gonna go Cody Garbrandt also. Watch him fight. I enjoy watching him fight. A lot of power there. Minus 140, and the only reason why I'm taking this one, quite honestly, is just purely the name. It don't matter. Sean O'Malley, don't matter. Just a sweet name.
O'Malley's gonna win that fight.
Yeah. And then I was on
In
board
the UFC, but we got to be clear on this. The UFC is grooming Sean O'Malley to be a star. There is a whole thing behind them setting up who people fight to keep relevant fighters or like name
Where they can sell.
fighters.
Yep.
Where they
People
can
who
sell.
are attracted
That's
to
no bullshit.
the draws.
That is 1,000,000,000%
Yep,
what the fuck
100%.
goes on.
Yep.
And it's a business. You can't fucking argue that. But you can't say, because the UFC is not boxing, and it needs to be more like boxing because they let fighters duck fights and pick fights. But Sean O'Malley has been given fights that are going to help him build his name because of what he's done. Because his striking is fucking nuts. Like, he was knocking people out. And you saw it in that fight against the fucking other colorful-haired fuck, whatever his name was. I can't even remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, like, he's doing that whole spinning back kick, doing the whole dribble thing for the Phoenix Suns when they were in the finals is that fight. But Sean O'Malley will win that fight by a knockout.
There we go. I got Dominic Cruz. Every time I watched him fight, it's been impressive. So that one's pretty.
His last loss was Cejudo, wasn't it? Is that who he lost to? Cruz.
Cejudo. Yeah,
I think so.
I know he's
might
been
have
banged-
fought since then. But yeah, he got beat by Cejudo.
Yeah.
But he has a problem with, like what you guys were saying. He has a problem just being healthy and staying in the ring or in the octagon.
He's
More
like
than anything,
40
he battles
years
himself.
old. He's old.
Is he that old?
He's old.
You got that in front
Old
of
for
you?
UFC. Like,
Old for UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be
Well,
mid-30s, but yeah.
But no, they say like 30 is like your prime in the UFC, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then this is I'm going Poirier.
Who's that? Sean O'Malley?
Yeah, no, Dominic Cruz. How old
Oh,
is he?
Dom Cruz.
Yep.
I don't know.
I got Dustin Poirier, and I'd be lying to you if if I didn't say that I believe what you're saying in the part that you're like looking past. That's never good in any sport. That doesn't matter if it's UFC or football, whatever it is, basketball. If you're looking into the next fight, that's always a problem. But I still believe. I still believe watching Poirier that he's going to give his A game. He's going to give everything he's got. And I think his max is better than
Well, I hope all the fighters give it everything they got.
Not everybody does that, though. Though not everybody does do that. They are in there for... First off, let's go ahead to one of my ex-favorite fighters, and that was Conor. Tell me the last 4 fights that he's been in, he was giving his all.
You're saying right now Conor is an ex-favorite?
Yeah.
So he's.
I don't like the way he fights now. No, he doesn't bring everything he has anymore. And if he tries a knockout, swinging hard in the first couple minute or two, and then he's like done. He's like worn out. And but that's my point, is that this guy's max, in my opinion, is better than Olivier's. So that's where I'm going. I'm going Dustin Poirier in that one. What do you got there, Luke?
So my picks would be for like the big fights. I would go with Sean O'Malley, and then, as much as I hate to say it, I think Cody Garbrandt gonna win that, and then that might just be me being on Garbrandt's side. And then I think Brazimbo, I think he's gonna win, and then obviously Amanda Nunes, and then I'm going with the Diamond. I just don't see him letting it slip past him, and then I don't know. I'm just a huge fan, so that's probably a bad bet for my part, but.
Well, he's a favorite, so he's obviously not a complete bad bet.
No,
Vegas
yeah,
thinks
but
the
I
same thing,
just mean like I'm like looking.
You're going
at
with
it.
your going with your heart.
That's more heart. That's not a great bet on my part, maybe, but
Still be a good one to watch, regardless.
Yeah, I think
it will be a good fight.
I think it's a good card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the card's actually
Yeah.
not,
I think
not bad at all.
outside of Nunez and whoever she faces. I'd like to watch her fight.
I don't see who you could put up against Amanda Nunes that's gonna be like even something that's worth watching.
right. Yeah, we thought
no,
Cyborg would have been, but
the best part of watching her and like what you're just saying right there is literally watching her kick the shit out of somebody. That's the best part of watching.
Has anybody looked at the odds? What are the odds of that making it out of the first round?
I don't know. I know the as of right now with ESPN, Nunez has minus 900.
Do they have?
I haven't looked up, which I can.
What are the odd rounds?
We'll take a look quick for the MMA. Well, Danny, what do you got for yours?
yeah, we're on the same page for most of it. Except I don't have as much faith in Poirier. I would like him to win. I like Poirier, but I don't know if he does it. I don't know if he can pull it off this time. What I did want to bring up, though, you talked about O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right in that, like, he's got that star quality for sure with the UFC, but he's not that good yet. Like, and Dana White called that out too. Somebody asked, like, why isn't he fighting top 10 people? And then he said, well, he hasn't fought anybody good enough to deserve that. He's not the only person that could do that. I think he said was Kazmat, who is a fucking freak, right? He's, I don't know.
People are like openly ducking.
Yeah, scared of, right?
Like Nate Diaz ducked him. Like no matter what
Straight
you
up.
say, I'm a Nate Diaz dick rider. That guy, he ducked him.
Yeah, he did. And I don't blame him.
In which Nate
You
Diaz
know?
is 100% right. Like you have nothing to gain fighting that man.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. So that's the only thing. If O'Malley ends up getting beat by one of these lower ranked guys, that whole star power thing isn't even going to matter. It's like you're done.
Well,
then-
so it builds off of it builds off of what we've looked at in the past. Like when some of these guys have brought up your guys' boy Khabib, he didn't face anybody up until the last what was it, like 6 or 7 fights of his professional career.
But then
Same thing with
ran through every
He did.
single one.
And we did. I did admit to that afterwards. But leading up to that, for his undefeated, that impressive of a record, how far he went.
15-0. Yep.
Yeah.
He went 50?
29.
No, 29.
I was going
So,
Floyd Mayweather.
but he had like 20, and I was about to touch on that too. Mayweather did the same thing though.
Yeah.
His card, his opponents were picked either A, nobodies up for the longest part of his, or B, they were guys past their prime and faced him way past when he should have fought them. So
Yeah.
it juices your shit too. That's what my
Habib's
point is.
wasn't like that though.
Not quite
And then-
that. It wasn't quite that bad. But his first, what was it, 10?
But
It was 10 or 15.
He also should have an asterisk next to his name because he did miss weight like with multiple times or like had to drop out of fights. And then I know one time he was supposed to fight and then they couldn't do it because he legit went blind during a weight cut.
Yeah.
Because he was cutting
Yeah.
so
So
much
much.
weight he went fucking blind.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think O'Malley's just got to get definitely some more quality fights over it. I mean, his one stud that he fought, Marlon Vera, he got TKO'd.
So I do have that for you,
So
Luke.
Yeah, but his TKO is
Talking to Mike,
like a broken ankle.
it says elbows and punches.
No, he broke
How
his
it got?
ankle.
Oh, no,
That's
he won that fight. He won the fight that he broke his ankle.
No, he broke his ankle in that Marlon Vera fight. He broke his ankle in that Marlon Vera fight.
Okay.
So I did have that answer for you though. Amanda Nunes to win in the first round plus 130.
What's the second round?
Second round is plus 370. These are still stupid low.
I think I would take that second round.
that second round. You
I
think
would
old
take
girl will hang?
second round. If I had to pick one, I think I would take Amanda Nunes plus 370 on that second
There we
round.
go.
Yeah, I could see the second round. Amanda, she likes to toy with her food a little bit.
Yeah, dude, she goes straight up like Mufasa style.
Yeah,
She's
and
just
then
gonna
she goes to
be out
town.
here fucking around, King of the Rock.
Yeah, definitely. Is that all you had for UFC there, Rio?
Yep, that's it.
Perfect. All right. So, Rio, what do you got for picks in the NFL this weekend?
Yeah, I got some NFL picks. I'm taking Cincinnati to cover win versus 49ers. They're 1.5 favorites. I think they beat them by a touchdown. They're just an overall better team myself. That's what I think, no matter if Joe Mixon plays or not. Also taking Packers. I think they cover the 12 points versus the Bears. They win by at least 2 touchdowns. The Bears are really bad. Just not good, no matter who walks out there at quarterback. Arizona, I got them to cover -2 versus the Rams. Now, I'm not saying they win by a whole bunch. I think this will be a high-scoring game. That's probably decided maybe by whoever has the ball last. So I'm also taking the over at that 51.5 in that game. I think the offenses are going to light it up. And I do have an underdog pick. I think the Falcons could beat the Panthers. They're 2.5-point underdogs. I think that this will be the time they do it. Division game, we always talk about they're tougher regardless, no matter what. Panthers missing Christian McCaffrey, and so it could happen.
Definitely. Jimmer, what do you got?
All right. So I'll go upset picks first. I have the Ravens covering 2.5 at the Browns. The Ravens are very up and down when it comes to their defense. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. They're very up and down. They're very up and down with their defense, but I think this is the time that they get up. It's still Baker Mayfield. They're not intimidating. The only thing that scares me is obviously that run game, but hasn't been quite the same. I think Lamar Jackson gets straight, at least enough to where they cover 2.5. That's for damn certain. I have the Washington football team at home covering 4.5 against them boys.
At home?
Yeah, one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. Cowboys are going on the road. Cowboys have not looked the same in the last few weeks.
Dak sure hasn't.
You guys gave me a little interesting tidbit that I did not know before I picked this, and that was that your head coach, Mike McCarthy,
Yeah. That's
guaranteeing victory.
Yeah, I'm not betting this game because, he comes out and he guarantees a victory. I'm like, okay, first off, division game, and then you give them more fuel. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely staying away from it. I was going to take the Cowboys and
bulletin
bet
board.
it, but, yeah, exactly. You don't do that kind of crap.
I'm gonna be honest. Like that fired me up. That made me pick the Cowboys. I'm not even bullshitting. Like, seriously, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely betting them.
Oh, I'm just the Washington football team are playing pretty damn good. Give them that bulletin board, and it's over 3 points. Like we said, if it's 3, for the most part, in the NFL against division opponents, rivalries, you take those points. Anything over 3, that's at least in my opinion for the most part. I think we talked about it many times. So 4.5, yeah, field goal or less. And I actually think Washington wins, and that's because I also hate them boys. I had the Rams plus 2.5 at the Cardinals, and this isn't because I believe that. I think the Cardinals are one of the best teams in the NFL, but I think the Rams need this way more than the Cardinals need this. So there's no, if they don't do it this week, Cardinals run away with this. This is it right here. Like, all right, you guys got this figured out with all your free agent pickups and your trades and all that shit? Do you have it figured out? This is it right here. My Stone Cold locks. I got the Seahawks minus 8.5 at the Texans. Starting Davis Mills. Old boy Russell Wilson is looking a lot better throwing that ball from last week, and I think it starts clicking. Little too late. Doesn't matter at this point for their overall record, but he also needs to get his stock up to get that next big boy contract or whatever team he ends up going to in the offseason.
Yeah.
Because it won't be the Seahawks, right? He didn't name any one of those when the report came out. He didn't name the Seahawks. So I do have the Chargers covering 9 at home against my Giants.
You just need this.
No, I have the Chargers covering the 9. I have them beating them.
Okay,
I think this is it. This is where I have to pay up a whiskey wager on Sunday night.
Pour yourself a shot right now.
That's about to happen. I'm going to do it anyway. This wonderful warm whiskey, I may just get it over with because I would still sit there and try to hang on a glimmer of a hope. But Mike Glennon is starting again, and that's if he even can get. So far, it says he'll be okay to go, but he has a concussion too. So
you're actually hoping he doesn't play.
Yeah, they go to the third string.
Yep.
Though? I don't know, or just have Saquon just take the snaps,
direct snaps.
Yeah. So I'm basically going full fledged, knowing that they weren't. So Chargers covering 9, and I have the Bucks at home all day minus 3.5 at the Bills. Now I say this. So what I just said about the Rams and the Cardinals goes the same way for the Bills. I believe the Bills have to. They need to. Right now is the time. That AFC, if you look at the hunt, there's so many people breathing right down their neck right there at that. I think they have the 7 seed right now.
7. Yep.
7. So they have so many teams breathing down their neck. They need this victory more than anyone else. It isn't going to happen. The Buccaneers are getting healthy on defense, which is the one thing that has been their Achilles heel this year. Has been their defense has been very hit and miss, right? And then Tom Brady's playing on a different level. Gronk is back and balling out of his mind.
Tight
right?
end you.
Now you're saying stupid shit. I was okay with the bear down. Tight end you is the University of Iowa.
That's a fact.
And that is a fact. But that being said, I do have the Bucks easily covering this. At home, they usually slap people up too. It isn't. I'm a Bills guy, but it's almost not fair. You go and lose that you lose that game on Monday night in an ugly fashion, and you got to go on the road down there to where the Bucks are balling out right now. Is what it is, but that's what I got.
Yeah. So Stone Cold locks real quick. Chiefs are going to take care of business against the Raiders. I've got them more than covering that 8.5.
It's at 10.
10.
When I pulled it, it was 8.5.
So are you going to do it at 10?
So I'll do it at 10. Yeah, they'll beat them by
You would
14
still
at
take it?
least. Yeah. They're going to beat the shit out
I'll
of them.
bet you a whiskey wager on that.
Okay.
Whiskey-
Touchdowns?
Hey, Chalk. Hey, you can erase Tyler's.
Yeah.
Unless Tyler wins.
There we go.
Or unless Tyler loses.
I'll bet on that for sure. When the Chiefs were, not that they're playing a ton better right now, but when they were at their lowest, they happened to play the Raiders and they dropped 40 on them. And they beat them by 20 some points. Like that's when they weren't playing good. Now they go home
At
And
This is at the stadium that they were breaking an all-time record right now for giving up points.
right.
On the road, I believe it's going to be inside that 10 easy. I think it'll be field goal or upset even. But yes, go ahead.
On the road, what?
This is at Kansas City.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
On the road for
On the road. So
Raiders,
when
I
they
gotcha.
went to, we've talked about this a few times in the
Yeah.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders are giving up the most points in yards and offense at their new stadium in
They like
NFL
to make
history.
everybody feel at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
They're
have
still
even,
hungover every night.
Nobody
from
nobody wants to come to Vegas and have a bad time.
right? They're like, hey, just feel right at home here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since that point, I mean, how many different Raiders players are out as well, right? Waller's not playing this weekend either. That just adds to it.
By the way, that Foster Moreau did not work out for me, but it worked out better than my backup tight end or my other tight end. So,
hey, what do you do?
he did not go Darren
so
Waller like.
I'll take that whiskey wager with you though. I think they beat them probably by 14. I am on the other end of the Browns game. I think the Browns cover against the Ravens. I think what they're going to be able to do is use that run game to pull the shitty secondary that the Ravens have in, and Baker might look pretty good on a few plays. So I'm picturing so when I don't know what you guys had. It's 2.5.
Yeah, that's what I pulled. That's what I had. Yep.
So I think it's a close-ish game, like 3 points, maybe a touchdown. But
So you're saying it's barely gonna hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then I've got the Bucks as well to cover against the Bills. I don't think they're going to be able to stop anything. And if nothing else, you didn't touch on Fournette either. He's been balling out the last few games too.
That's because I'm facing Chris
So-
this week, and he has Fournette, and he's gonna break his leg in the first snap.
Okay.
So we got that going.
Hey.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Damn.
Get it.
That's hardcore.
Hey, how's that Dalvin Cook trade looking right now?
I can't wait till I shit stomp you.
I
I need to just to get the playoffs.
Hey, Luke, how's your fantasy team doing?
We're rebuilding.
Tough.
We're rebuilding.
We're in a rebuilding
Hey,
process.
at least my team looks good enough I could win. If I miss out on the playoffs, I could win the number 1 draft pick.
Hey.
There you go.
There
They're
you go.
competing for that. What's the other thing you're competing for right now? Not the number 1 pick.
Not last place.
Not the toilet bowl.
Not the toilet
Not
bowl.
Not last place.
So you guys
I'm
are rooting
locked
for
there.
whoever's
I'm good
playing
there.
who?
No, Tom Hahn's already clinched
Yeah, I
it.
can't.
Did he
I
clinch it?
can't-
Yeah.
I can't
Oh, it's
lose.
done. Oh, it's a done deal then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It's done. It's already engraved.
See, auto draft isn't that bad, right?
We are
Yeah,
going
see?
to. So we are going to
In
next
ESPN,
year.
we trust.
ESPN, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be first." They were jerking you off.
so
Remember?
this is the best thing about it. So that same day that we were at my house and we did the auto draft, or I did the auto draft in our league, and then me and Jimmer draft in my other league that I'm in. So I was in first place in ESPN's projections in our league, right? So then my other league, I was projected to be in 10th place, which is last. In that league, now I'm in first. I've lost 2 games.
You're almost last.
Yeah,
in the-
yeah,
And
baby.
And I was projected to be in last.
I
so
love it.
complete fucking polar opposites.
Yeah.
The teams that we actually picked,
Could
fucking.
ESPN actually have said that you weren't going to be first after they picked for you though?
I'm just saying, like, to be honest, if this ever goes like viral, fuck you, Stephen A. Smith. That's all I want people to know.
That's it. I can get behind that too. Yeah.
That wow, what was I going to tell you about that? Because you also cut into the draft, so we've made fun of Rio plenty of times about his Lamar Jackson versus Dak Prescott.
I already told you it's
he,
working out.
and he rocked a Dak Prescott jersey to the.
That is a bad thing. Like, and then it's not only that, not that only you've rocked a Dak jersey, that you picked him as a dark horse for the MVP. That's also
Just threw it out there. It's just random picks, baby. Hey, and it's working out. But he has more. My
Does
pick.
he now? Right now, though,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
your boy
he
has
does.
not been doing good recently.
Yeah, he does. He's still beating him.
Has he played one less game?
No, it's the same now.
Okay.
Remember we talked. They both had their buys and they both missed a game.
That being said, it was a damn good day that day.
Besides our potential number 1 pick guy not showing up. I don't know how you do that.
Shit happens.
daylight
Did you have
savings.
some?
I
Did you have something you wanted? No, on your picks. Did you have some picks that you want to throw out there that you were liking?
Ooh,
I'll let him look while I'm finishing up.
I wasn't
Jimmy.
planning on it.
Oh,
I
didn't know you were.
I got
My
some
bad.
that I was already.
I thought you
doing.
said you were done.
No.
So my picks would be.
Oh, hold on. Go ahead and look at yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can look through for a second, Luke. So I just want to go over the upset picks that I've got real quick. I've got the Jets covering the 5.5 against the Saints. Washington is gonna cover that 4.
Where's that Jets game? You know?
It's at.
Is that
I
at the
think.
Jets?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Washington's covering against the Cowboys. I just one thing people aren't talking about is during this win streak, Heineke's completing over 70% of his passes,
He's been playing pretty good.
and that Cowboys defense is just going to let him do even better, you know. And
Yeah,
then Gibson's
agree.
going to run. It's going to be tough sledding for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's better than Kirk Cousins, so he should tear it up, right? Because Kirk couldn't.
Don't talk about the MVP like
yeah,
that.
but Kirk Cousins been completing a shit ton of passes too, so that kind of negates what
He didn't do
Danny's
it versus
going
the
with.
Cowboys, though.
No.
I don't think they're going to win, Jimmer, but I think your Giants do cover against the Chargers. They're just missing too many pieces, and I think
Oh my God.
the Giants are going to be able to
Blowing
run all
them out.
over the Chargers. The run defense is dog shit. And then the Rams, I've got them beating, not only covering, but beating the Cardinals this weekend. I think that Infinity Gauntlet that McVay busted out,
Mm-hmm.
I think he finally uses it, and we see something out of him. At least I hope we do.
We see
So.
Jared Goff 2.0.
2.0. Stafford's a stud, man. All right,
Yeah.
Luke, what you got, brother?
So, I'm gonna go with all dogs here.
All dogs.
Woof.
We're gonna go with Ravens, and then we're gonna take Baltimore, take the points. Then we're gonna go with Vegas, take the points, and then the Lions is probably the dark horse here against the Broncos.
Is
And
that
then
10? What is that? 10?
10.5.
10.5?
You know who they
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
the dark horse against?
And then
Fuck off.
The
I haven't dropped
Minnesota
that. Hold on.
Vikings.
Let's make this
Get
very
it.
clear. I have not dropped the F-bomb this whole episode, I don't think, up until now. You go pull low blows like that, you piece of shit.
And
God.
then, so the other two that I would take is going to be the Bills and Cincinnati.
Yeah,
So-
Cincy, baby.
Okay.
I think if I'm taking points on teams, those are the ones I would take.
Absolutely.
Are you guys worried about his pinky?
No.
No, he
Burrow.
can cut it off. Joe Burrow.
Cut it off.
Hey, cut it off.
Dude's a
What was
stud.
that? The man did that safety. 49ers. Old school.
Oh yeah.
God. Oh, I can't believe this name is escaping me right now.
I can't think of who you're
Yeah,
talking
this
about.
ain't good.
The story seems familiar. but
Long
I
neck,
can't.
dude.
No,
Long
not that one.
neck,
Long neck, dude.
Dude, he pulled that out of nowhere. Can we talk?
Yes,
Just-
he did.
Yeah, my boy with the long neck. Like what? Who? So I literally
But it
Googled
was awesome
long
that
neck
you-
49er defensive back, and it come up.
He wasn't wrong on that
I was like,
one.
dude.
Everything he said or stumbled out of his mouth, he was.
Dude was wearing a
turn.
turtleneck and still like didn't.
So
cover half his neck.
Ronnie Lott.
Oh yeah.
Ronnie Lott was that man. Different breed.
Duh.
He them boys.
But that being said, that's what we got for picks.
All right.
Boom. Well,
Barry
so
Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame.
Go ahead. You got yourself a
Say
minute.
your
That's my
piece.
only argument. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. If you're going to let other people in the steroid era, there's no reason that Barry Bonds shouldn't be in.
Yep.
preach.
Yep.
He was. We've talked about this in the sense that he was a borderline Hall of Famer before, like maybe even Hall
Not
of Famer
borderline. Barry Bonds is a Hall of Famer.
No, he is. But I'm saying before the steroids, where he actually went like this.
Yeah.
He was a borderline Hall of Famer before even that.
Yeah.
And then you add that in there. Yeah. The dude was ridiculous. You know, they only pitched him like two times a game. You remember ever looking at his stat lines? It was like 1 for 2 because they would walk him. He broke a MLB record for walks because you didn't pitch to the man.
That's how long it took. They had to they pitched him outside for however many games for him to break the record.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was fucking unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Insane.
absolutely deserves to be in. If any of them that do, that would be my number 1. My number 2 would probably be Roger Clemens. A-Rod too. He's admitted to his stuff. A-Rod is like right there too for me. So, But definitely Barry. Like, Barry needs to be the one that breaks the ground and
Yeah.
is doing that.
Couldn't agree more.
Let the fucking steroid era play,
Yeah.
and then let them do steroids in the MLB.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Batters
Unless
only.
Unless
No.
you're a pitcher. Unless you're
No.
a pitcher.
No.
Nobody gives a shit about 104 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah.
We need 900-foot home runs. It's good for baseball.
What if steroids helped you with your curve too? What if you're fucking, like those?
We're trying to hit bombs.
The
We don't
wiffle
give a
ball.
shit
The
about
wiffle
that.
ball catches a wind and it
Oh.
shoots like 3 feet.
Have you seen some of
Imagine
those?
a curveball.
Nobody,
like that.
nobody ever gets excited about fucking
I've
a
seen a
curveball.
curveball
What,
drop in the
R.A.
dirt.
Dickey and his knuckleball? Nobody
Yes.
gives a fiddler's fuck about that.
Probably not.
I just remember that sucked to play against in which game was that? Was that just MLB?
Just
I can't remember
MLB.
what year, but whenever he was pitching against you, I'm like,
Dude,
fucking,
knuckleball is the hardest one
Yeah.
to hit in the
It's
video
impossible.
games. I play one right now on my phone, and every time a knuckleball pitcher comes up there, I'm like, God damn it! I'm
Yeah.
swinging like
No.
way early. I'm like,
It's
this is
bullshit.
horseshit.
In our
Throw a
softball league,
fastball.
I was not throwing knuckleballs either.
No, you're throwing
I was-
home run balls.
It was more like change-ups that went over the fence.
that being
So
said,
road
One
That-
speed change-ups.
hey, that was a good time though. Regardless, so
It was.
a couple hitters here that came across. Duke football has hired their new head coach. Blue Devils finalizing deal to make Texas A&M defensive coordinator Mike Elko the school's next head coach. Simmons trade talks are heating up finally. Don't know exactly where that's going to go.
There you
but
go, Kyrie, baby. Let's go. Let's do it.
Ooh, the other thing.
2 and 3 team deals is kind of what it's looking
Jimbo
like.
Fisher,
Oh.
that $125 million deal they were talking about.
Didn't
That
happen.
was
so
offered.
no one gives a shit.
But I mean, like, if
That would've
that
been
was
crazy, though.
actually on the table before Brian Kelly,
Yeah.
like,
Well, which one would you rather have? There's one. Brian Kelly or
Brian Kelly.
Jimbo.
Brian Kelly, 100%.
you'd
I
rather
think.
have Brian Kelly than Jimbo?
Yes. Because
Okay.
what has Jimbo Fisher done at Texas A&M?
Not much, actually. Outside that
They
Jameson Winston.
they beat Alabama.
But did Georgia when it counted?
Wait,
Well,
why would-
his
where are
he
you
was
going with
he
that?
was
What's-
also
what's
an
wrong?
ex. He was an ex assistant to Saban.
Nah, I don't remember that.
I do remember somebody saying
If
that
it
he
was,
had never
it-
been
it-
beaten
it
by an
might-
assistant.
It might have been LSU assistant, and that don't count.
But
That don't count.
some slight
I get where you're going,
misinformation.
though, Luke. Yeah, when you look at credentials, right? Like Kelly's the pick.
Well, and then you go, you go Brian Kelly. He was going from Notre Dame, where they actually had to go to school. Now he's going to the SEC, where they may or may not actually have to do that much academically.
Allegedly.
Right.
Yeah, with
Allegedly.
parentheses.
Allegedly.
Yeah, in quotations. I don't know how much school they're doing there, but I do know.
We ain't here to
that-
play school.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't come here to play school. So,
Right
Yeah.
on.
All right.
Well, as we start to wrap her up here, Jimmer, do you have a "it makes sense if you don't think about it" segment?
I do, unless one of you do. You got one you want to throw in there, Luke?
I do, but whatever.
do?
If
Go ahead.
Jim-
If
Go
you
ahead.
if you got one, go ahead.
Oh, all right. When I got hired of my place in employment, love to hear about it. When I got hired, I got offered the job, right? And I obviously said yes. And I'll accept the job.
It was a lifetime marriage.
Lifetime marriage.
subtle.
Well, yeah, just settled divorce and I changed my mind.
Came back, come crawling back.
So this guy who had been there as a temp for a long time, like 8 years plus, he tells
What?
me he'd been there a long time. Him and another guy, and I was a temp for like 3 or 4 months, and that's it. And they offered me a job, and I took it, full-time job. He tells me to my face, with a straight face, he's like, "Yeah, you should turn that job offer down." And I go, well, why? Because there's temps here who have been here longer than you have.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh.
Top tier temps, dude.
Top tier. Yeah. So he literally
flight,
he
Craig.
meant it
Top
100%.
flight security in the world, right?
You should have turned down the job and not feed your family.
Right, because
there's other
there's
more willing-
2 other guys, himself included, and one other guy who had been there like 8 to 10 years and didn't get offered a job.
So genuinely now, seeing how that guy's life played out, how do you feel about your decision?
First off, R.I.P. And
Jesus.
second of all, maybe he'd still be here if he had got hired.
Oh, so it's kind of your fault.
Oh, man.
Correct.
So are you gonna say I'm sorry or
Not on air.
Dude, he wouldn't say Big Daddy Jimmer's always right. So
You already know how I feel about that.
he's like, I'll drink that whole damn bottle.
rest in peace, Gruber?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, seriously, rest in peace, bro.
rest in peace. But yeah, no, it makes sense if you don't think about
Makes
it.
sense.
Makes sense if you
With
don't
all
think
due
about it. With all due
Jesus.
respect.
Can we just touch on, at what point do you no longer call it a temp position?
Right.
If you're there fucking 8 years? What the hell?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
he's
That is a good
he's
point.
exaggerating a little bit, but we did have a guy that just got hired not that long ago that was there for like 5 years as a temp, and he got in on a weird rule that came across. If you guys remember, right? Like something
yeah.
about like you have to let them go if they're a temp for so long if you're not going to
After-
hire them full
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a weird rule he made up. He was like, well, we either hire him after a year and a half, wasn't it?
something like that. Yeah,
Or let them go.
and then they
entirely.
can come back as a temp from a different agency if they want to. But yeah,
Yeah.
but you're right. That's a good question. Like, at what point are you?
Just throw in
Yeah,
the towel and move
a,
on.
A temp should only be a temp for so long. That's a
Right.
very good point.
Yeah.
Right.
No
But there's a
But what-
lot of people that stay out there as
But
temps
what
that were like.
but what is
yeah,
that
you
line,
shouldn't
though?
be.
Because technically, I'd have to join that too. I was a temp for a year and a half. They didn't hire very much back then,
Yeah,
Uh,
me too.
I think
What are you saying,
a
Danny?
year. I think a year is too
So I
long
shouldn't
to
even
be
be
called
there.
a temp.
Wow.
See, all the stars are aligning. I shouldn't even be there
See?
anymore.
I got your back.
Should have started
Got
this
me,
podcast earlier.
Way sooner.
Yeah, we should have started
way
this way
sooner.
earlier.
You know, we've been talking about this for years, though. So this,
that.
I get excited. I get
Yeah.
excited every day that
Yeah.
I talk about it and think about it. And one day when these businesses stop being cheap asses and start tossing us money for just talking,
With all due respect.
with all due respect, of course.
Fuck you, cancel culture.
Once that happens, be able to just walk away from the place of employment is what we will call it.
Yeah.
It's even though it is great culture,
Great culture.
great. Culture.
great.
And why is that?
Me
I don't know.
specifically.
Well, probably him because it's the director of company morale.
Exactly.
It's not
Yeah,
him
that's where I
anymore.
was
I
going.
told you who it was.
Who is that?
Tom G.
Who's Tom G? What's G?
Yeah, let's wrap
G
this up.
for-
Actually, you know what, Luke? Give us some words of wisdom.
Something. You got something.
Well, that's how his life has went. So
God bless.
Putting
You
you on
gotta
the spot.
you gotta have a little bit of something like what not to do. You
Yeah.
watch somebody fuck up their life.
Oh yeah, don't do meth, kids.
we've had that one already.
Actually, yeah. Oh my God, that was.
I think that goes on so many different levels and so
Yeah.
many different people. So
Don't do heroin either.
There
yeah,
you
it's
go. We're there.
what's that movie? He's like, yeah, I think it's a gateway drug. What? No, it's like the finish line.
It's kind of the finish line. She's like, it was fist fight. She's like, she's like, I'm just dabbling some meth.
Yeah.
What?
It's a gateway drug.
You shouldn't be doing that. Why? Is it because it's a gateway drug? No, it's kind of the finish line. Let's see. You know,
I feel like this went better than the last one.
yeah, and that's where I'm going. So words of wisdom.
I was hoping somebody would do it.
Yeah,
I
we're
can't-
I was about to.
we're going to.
I'm gonna be
So-
honest.
since I
like,
did it.
Actually, if we're gonna do it, just say like, "Hey, if you had to bet tonight, you should have bet on the Suns."
That's a great words of wisdom. But if you are ever like recording a podcast or something like that, and you invite somebody on your podcast,
and they know they're coming.
please don't let them get hammered where they're incoherent and slurring their words.
Otherwise, you may be here 5 hours later.
That is also true.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, let's not do that.
With all due respect.
Hey,
all due
I
respect.
appreciate the effort.
Due
That's for sure.
respect.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all right. We'll wrap her up then, boys. Thanks, everybody, for listening. The podcast is available everywhere you find your podcast. Apple, Spotify, Facebook podcast, the whole 9 yards.
Pornhub.
Pornhub.
That's next.
We're
That's just
looking-
my peep.
Well,
feet
actually,
pics.
that's 3 Gigs After Dark.
Yeah,
that's the
right.
next
That's
one.
the next segment.
That's
We didn't tell you about
11:30.
Luke. I'm gonna need you to take off your pants.
And if you guys are looking for more information, come to 3 Gags After Dark.
That being said, I
Only
do
3
believe,
because mine's
I
non-existent.
do believe Luke has been accused of having a thick cock, so this will be an interesting 3 gig episode.
Follow,
3 gigs after
join
dark.
my OnlyFans.
Actually, I wonder,
built like a tuna can.
have you ran your idea past him, Rio?
What's that?
The OnlyFans you want to start?
Oh
Half foot.
yeah, so I'm selling feet pics, and one's full price and one's half off.
Nah, dude, they already have that kind of shit for like ostrich feet. Like you can just buy a whole ostrich for what he was gonna cost.
No,
for
but then I'm going to special guest. I got
Oh,
the 9
Danny's got a
toes.
special guest because
Dude,
he's only got.
9 toes, half
Yeah.
a foot.
We're gonna combine the
Yeah.
whole thing, and it's
come
gonna
out
get
with
weird.
14 toes.
Yes.
We're down one.
Down one. Big shout out to Luke for stepping in here and doing a damn good job. Appreciate you coming
What do you
on.
mean stepping in? He was just a guest.
Yes, but we were supposed to have a guest the whole time.
Oh yeah. So shout out to
I
Luke.
was a special guest.
Yeah, extremely special. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for popping in.
I was
And,
the first choice, second option.
Right? What is that? God damn it! The
The
office.
Office. He was like, I was the first choice's
I
first
might
choice.
not have been the first choice, but I was the
was the
first
first
choice's
choice's
first choice. Andy.
Oh, haven't watched it. Okay.
I haven't-
Okay, we
haven't
see he's
seen
not
that one,
chuckling like
pretty
that.
sure.
So,
Third team all state, baby.
Sorry.
but
We'll see. Alrighty. Well, hey, everyone out there that managed to stick through it, we appreciate you guys. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.
Made something from nothing, no hindsight discussions. I've been writing, I love it. All this doubt around me, then look, I got